Let's hear this one, my friend. It sounds like garbage.
It's hitting half of your bumper.
Oh, is it?
It doesn't clear the bumper.
So with the pandemic, there isn't a whole lot of car meets that happen around the region, but seeing one randomly pop up here and there is pretty refreshing. Now, I don't really know a whole lot of Mustang owners, but it's kind of cool to just come across a bunch of enthusiasts. There's a few really nice looking Mustangs around here too. One of them is supercharged, so let's go take a look at that in a bit. Love this one. This is one of my favorite ones right here.
And they don't even care.
This has the 4.6 in it. Clean for its age. Woo-hoo-hoo, GT500. Okay, the All-Star just pulled up. Check this out. Oh man, let me tell you guys something really crazy. In the past couple of weeks, we determined that the temperatures are getting significantly cooler, and thus there's been a return on the infamous cold starts. What the heck is going on? It's just the beginning of September. We usually have hot Septembers. Now we're getting a really cold September. So cold that when I step outside, it makes me want to shit. So, yeah. Well, since the G35 is still not fixed or tackled at, hashtag Project G35 decided to work on the daily. So we got a couple of things on our list. We got brakes in the front to replace, and we got a loose exhaust in the back. So we're gonna try to bring this into the garage and take it apart in a few minutes. The brakes that we got for today are supplied from Rock Auto, power stop rotors and pads. Figured this would be like a better upgrade because I know Hondas typically go through brakes like they're nothing. So I wanted to upgrade it, get some more stopping power, which will eventually save me some money down the road. And if we take a closer view of these rotors, you'll see they're a lot different looking than the typical rotors you would find on a Honda. They're centric rotors, which essentially means the hub sits in the middle of the rotor like so. So we have to remove the axle in order to install these, which means these are even more of a pain in the ass than typical brakes on a 96 Accord. So we got the car jacked up. We're going to loosen the wheel here. The next step is to loosen this, which is the axle nut. But as you can tell what I'm talking about, captive rotors essentially have the hub sit on top of the rotor itself. So we'll have to move this, loosen these, loosen that, so there's no tension on the lines, and we'll have to take out the knuckle on this. Hopefully they didn't record this, but the axle nut comes off with the 36mm socket. And these are 14s, I believe, so I'm taking these off right now. Then you gotta take the bracket off here. And here we are removing the caliper, or slider pins rather, I don't know terminology. I just like wrenching on shit. Especially for an older Honda like this, it might be a good idea to have a breaker bar with you, because that's what I used to loosen these things up earlier. With the breaker bar on it, you just go ahead and it'll probably crack open. If you have difficulties with this part, probably spray some penetrating fluid just to get it all nice and loose. And she should come undone very easily. Don't mind me banging my fender, I really don't care about this car, I just want to drive it. Now that we have the bracket for the pads off, you're gonna have to loosen the lower ball joint here. And I believe this is a 17 mil or 18 mil? I can't even, 17 mil, okay. Just like that. Lower ball joint will come off loose and you can take off the knuckle, no problem. So you're going to take a hammer and, oh, she's already loose. And you're gonna wanna hit this part and she should lift right out like that. Mine's got lots of mileage on it. There's a lot of corrosion where I live, so trust me, it took a few bangs for me to get that out, so don't worry. And now all you do is you push the axle through this little spot right here and it should slide right out. I can't do it with one hand, but just like that. It smells stanky. It doesn't smell good at all. All right. That's awesome. So you see those 4 bolts there, we're gonna have to take those off. All right, so a little bit of a struggle here, but we're just trying to get the central assembly taken apart from this. So I just leave 2 bolts in. You can get aftermarket ones just to save the hassle of, you know, running into this issue, because I learned the hard way. But I don't give a crap, I'm just gonna keep going. I don't want to round it off all the way, but just enough, some love taps to make sure that the entire assembly here comes apart and the rotor comes off. So, and there we go, it fell on my knee, but that's the old rotor there. So that's garbage. That was probably the hardest part, but it's not the worst. The brake job can be done if you just know what you're doing. I tried saving the wheel bearing because it is fairly new, but as you can tell, it's okay. We didn't hammer it or anything, we're good. That means my vision is working just fine. My prescriptions don't need to be changed anytime soon. Now, with that out of the way, we need to grab some brake cleaner and take our new rotors and spray them down and wipe them, because as you guys might have watched from my G35 brake install video, there is a little bit of a random layer of chemical that stays on here to pretty much stop corrosion happening while these sit on the shelves of the stores. So that's what I'm going to take off with the brake cleaner. Just a little spray and a wipe down, it should be good to go back on. Now that we have the rotor out and we have the wheel bearing assembly out as well, we'll go ahead and thread these back on, and which will make the reverse process a lot easier. Now, I don't know how the heck this is going to happen. This is actually my first time doing this on my Accord, so I'm learning as I go. Axle gets fed through like so, and we got to put her back on the not control arm, but the there we go. Gonna get that on there. Fasten the bolts here. We fasten the bolts for the wheel bearing, and we gotta reconnect this, get our pads on, and tighten it all down. And after 8 hours, we finally installed our brakes. What an easy task. Y'all want to hear a satisfying sound? Oh, yeah.
Later that same evening. the next day.
I kid you not, I woke up like this. Last night was so exhausting. One second, I need my hat. All right, maybe that will work for now. Last night was extremely stressful. For whatever reason, whenever I work on my own car, I always run into the stupidest issues. Captive rotors are a pain in the dick. Story closed. And I had to get some of my friends to come by and help me. So shout out to Redline Rob and Dan Z34 for helping me out. In other news, Redline Rob, he has offered to help me build some wheels. And in the meantime, he has given me some really cool looking wheels to help me get around to do my everyday stuff until he can get them built for me and put back onto my Honda. And it actually looks pretty pimpin'. I'm gonna show it to you guys in just a quick second. It's too damn bad these wheels are not actually mine. It definitely isn't anything to really brag about, but it does make the car look a lot better in my opinion. The worst part about having a car like this that you don't want to spend too much money on, a lot of good friends are going to start convincing me to do things like get 17-inch rims or turbo the Accord and stuff like that. You know who you are. But nah, we're just gonna stick to reliable, cheap daily beater. Because, you know, the Infinity isn't exactly cheap right now. But thank you all for watching another episode of me struggling. Cheers, everyone, and have a great rest of the week. We'll see you again soon.